The history and culture of East Asian nations like Korea, China, and Japan have long piqued the interest of people around the world. With scores of historical films coming out of these locations each year, these nations are recognized for producing some of the most epic historical dramas and war films ever made. But because there are so many historical films accessible, there are also many outstanding and subpar ones. For this reason, I've put up my list of the best historical Asian films ever made so you can quickly and easily weed out the bad ones and pick a wonderful Asian historical movie. The first movie is The Seven Samurai, a 1954 classic samurai drama movie set in 1586 during the Sengo era of Japanese history, comes in at number 10. In this movie, a town of farmers hires 7 Ronin master samurai to fight off a sizable group of neighborhood bandits who come back every year after the harvest and take all their crops. Since its release, The Seven Samurai, one of Japan's most beloved movies, has served as the model for numerous remakes. However, as many critics are quick to note, none of these remakes can compare to the original movie, whose acting, swordplay, and cinematography are still among the greatest in their field. The Seven Samurai is still a fun movie to watch and should absolutely be put to your must-see list even though it doesn't have all the most advanced technology and CGI enhancements from present-era flicks. Genghis Khan's Ascension in the Mongol is at number 9. A movie that follows Genghis Khan's life from his rough and impoverished upbringing to the beginning of his climb to power and the unification of all the major tribes of Mongolia. The early years of Genghis Khan's life had a significant impact on him and taught him how to be tenacious, courageous, and unwavering in the pursuit of his goals and thirst for vengeance. A complaint about Mongol is that despite having excellent acting, it fails to convey the complexity of Temujin's life to the audience while also showcasing Genghis Khan's immense desire and drive to unite all the Mongolian tribes. Genghis Khan's ascent to power is not well explained to viewers until later in the movie. Due to some of these weaker plot elements, Mongol is prevented from being one of the genuinely great films of the genre, although still being an amazing film. In one scene, he is a struggling loner, and in the following scene, he is riding against the adversaries at the head of a massive Mongol horde. The Lost Bladesman, a film that highlights some of the renowned General Guan Yu's incredible exploits while serving as the warlord Lubris general, comes in at number 8. Donnie Yen plays Guan Yu, a key figure in the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and he really excels in bringing his role to life by convincingly portraying the devoted and honest yet firm-willed general. This movie makes tremendous use of the Three Kingdom period in Chinese history, and it features some fantastic political intrigue, plot twists, and superb swordsmanship. But if you're hoping for massive epic battles and historical realism, I'd recommend passing on this movie or just lowering your expectations. The Lost Bladesmith is our recommendation for anyone looking for a more straightforward movie about a lone warrior who will do whatever it takes to save his warlord. But if you prefer something more action-packed and set during the Romance of the Three Kingdoms era, I'd recommend Three Kingdoms: Resurrection of the Dragon. This movie stresses massive conflicts with thousands of people and basically tons of non-stop action, in contrast to The Lost Bladesman, which is about a single man's adventure. Zhao Zilong, a poorly ranking officer who later rises to become one of the fabled 5 tiger generals that served under the warlord Khan, is the protagonist of this film, which tells the story from his point of view. This movie does a great job of depicting what life would be like for all warrior classes in an ancient Chinese army. Additionally, it excels in employing military strategies and bringing epic fights to the big screen. Aside from issues with the plot and pacing, The Three Kingdoms: Resurrection of the Dragon is a fantastic movie to watch for anyone looking for an action-packed historical drama. However, a major criticism of this movie is that the storyline is rather weak and that certain events occur at a certain point simply to advance the plot. White Vengeance, a movie that focuses on the Chuhan dispute, which was a period of time between the collapse of the Qin dynasty and the advent of the Han dynasty, comes in at number 6. In this movie, the emperor pits 2 warlords, Yang Yu and Liu Bang, against one another while secretly attempting to retake control of China. The 2 men are sworn brothers and rival warlords. As a result of its numerous epic combat scenes and incredible use of military strategy and tactics, this movie gives battles a sense of realism rather than over-the-top action sequences. The 2 main actors portraying Yang Yu and Liu Bang are also excellent, as are the 2 main actors portraying Zhong Yu and Liu Bang. However, some of the auxiliary cast, particularly the character of Yu Ji, is not effectively exploited because the love triangle is not adequately developed. The film, White Vengeance, is our pick, if you're searching for one that will keep the viewer and girls interested from start to finish while showcasing some clever political and military strategies, aside from some of the weaker character arcs. God of War is ranked 5th. Two generals, Yu Dao and Qi Jigang, must devise a military strategy and a plan to save the coastal towns from ferocious Japanese pirates who have established a coastal town as their stronghold in a Chinese historical war movie set in 1557. The main conflict of the movie is around General Qi's inability to receive the help he needs from the Chinese army to battle the pirates. As a result, he is forced to gather and train an army from the local farmers and villagers in order to stand a chance against the merciless Japanese pirates. Excellent battle scenes, significant character development for the Chinese generals, and Japanese samurai are all found in God of War. In addition, it has a decent balance of comedy and action, but I understand the film's weakest point is the overwhelming amount of characters, which at times may be startling and perplexing. The relevance of several of the on-screen individuals is difficult to recollect, and the military politics are also not sufficiently explored. However, God of War is my suggestion if you're seeking for a realistic, action-packed thriller with a compelling story and engaging characters. The fourth one is Hero. The main character in the 2002 movie Nameless, which is based on Jin K's attempt to kill the King of Qin in 227 BC, is Jet Li. And because of his made-up part in this botched assassination attempt, the movie Hero holds the distinction of being the first Chinese-language movie to top the box office in the United States. It actually held that position for 2 weeks on unheard feed for an international language movie during that time. This amazing movie has received high praise from critics who consider it to be one of the greatest Chinese historical films ever made. It also has an all-star cast of primary and supporting actors, a compelling narrative with a great use of ambition and political intrigue. You can see why this is the case, yet my only minor quibble with this movie is that the martial arts action sequences occasionally dragged on. This movie's arts and warfare scenes are unmatched, featuring some genuinely breathtaking fight scenes. Hero is the movie I suggest for you if you're searching for one that will keep you interested from start to finish with great action scenes and compelling storylines. The third slot on this list belongs to The Castle, a historical drama from South Korea that shows how King Inju and his retainers were forced to seek refuge in a desolate and sparsely stocked fortress during the Second Manchu invasion of Korea in 1636. The main plot is around the court intrigue and politics that arise as each of the emperor's advisors seeks to offer advice on how to cope with the king's army that is invading. The bulk of the advisors are attempting to persuade the emperor to engage in an all-out war, summon reinforcements, and drive the enemy back from where they had come from, while some advisors are advising the emperor to submit and serve as a vessel for the king's empire. This is an unusual movie since the focus is on court politics and how words matter more than swords in a battle. As a result, most of the movie is devoted to character interactions and the nobles' decisions and how they affect the common people. The Stronghold is therefore my suggestion if you're searching for a movie that focuses less on epic battles and action scenes and more on the minute details of war. Admiral, Roaring Currents, takes the second slot on this list. In a South Korean epic war movie about the famous Battle of Yongyang, General Yi Sun-sin engages in a naval battle of Thermopylae against a fleet of the Japanese Navy. 330 ships with only 13 ships in his own meager force. General Yi's persona as a dependable, seasoned, and fearless leader who represents the last line of defense for the Joseon Empire against Japanese invasion is expertly developed in this movie. Excellent naval conflicts are featured in this movie, which also plays out like an amazing action movie. The action builds to huge confrontations that employ daring and unusual military strategies to keep the audience on the edge of their seats. Even though this movie does an excellent job of showcasing the incredible maritime prowess of the Korean Navy, victory can never feel far away for the Joseon fleet. The same cannot be said about the Japanese Navy, since the movie doesn't give the enemies any development and portrays them as incompetent sailors and tacticians, which isn't historically accurate. But aside from this minor criticism, the movie is excellent for anyone searching for an Asian take on 300 on the Sea. The top spot on this list goes to Red Cliff. The 288-minute complete version, not the 148-minute condensed version, as this is a two-part film with each part being approximately 140 minutes in length. But watching each individual movie is the best way to enjoy this film, as it gives you a complete understanding of the story that is taking place. Red Cliff is another film which takes place during the War of the Three Kingdoms in Imperial China. But what makes this film unique compared to other films covering the same historical period is that this covers the history from the fall of the Han Dynasty prior to the Three Kingdom War and develops the political background for these three kingdoms to be formed very effectively. There are some incredible battle scenes in this movie that will keep the audience on the edge of their seats and give them a clear understanding of what the stakes are, and the story is slowly paced to effectively develop the characters of the film convincingly while also providing a chance to view the social and political impact of the Three Kingdoms War on common folk that are happening. An epic movie like this one will inevitably have certain problems, such as too many names and characters for viewers who aren't familiar with the history of the Three Kingdoms. Red Cliff is my recommendation for you if you're seeking for a movie that you need to watch quickly and what I would recognize as my favorite Chinese historical film of all time. However, this is a minor criticism for a movie of this scale. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to see more videos like this, enable notifications, and leave a like to support the channel.